What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, bringing home the bacon MLB DFS video. It is Tuesday. It is April 15th. It is tax day. And I have yet to finish filing my taxes because I'm an idiot. But I want to welcome you guys. You guys aren't idiots because you're here. The video is a little bit longer. You can already tell that. If you're new to the channel, we go through everything. So we look at all things. So what I mean by that is we go through game by game. We look at all the pitchers, all of the batters that make sense. We use batter splits. We use BVP. We use anything at our disposal to make your life a little bit easier. Is it a little longer video? Yes, it is. But it's very informative for you. So if you can, watching the entire video all the way through, clicking on the ads definitely helps us out more than you know. We have all of our Discord, email, CashApp, everything is in the description of this video that you may need for this. If you need a little bit more help, we do have FTA Plus, which is $10 for a week, $30 for a month, $200 for a year. Now, we still have one spot available. We had two. Someone did contact me and send the money. So if you guys have been interested, I'm still waiting on 3 people that have not responded, and I've sent multiple emails to you. If you've been on the fence, you want to get it for $100 off, you can get a yearly pass for $99. All you got to do is email me dfshelp1@gmail.com. That will be down below. Now, we didn't have a video yesterday, but I posted why in a community poll or community chat here on YouTube, and I will always post in the free Discord, so make sure you check that down below. So if you need a little bit more help after that, we will have an article that accompanies this with a few plays that we like at each position, the pitchers and each position. So that being said, we try to have 2 giveaways a day. I did forget, on Sunday, I did forget the keyword, so there's only 1 giveaway this time. And here's how to win. You got to like this video, you got to be a subscriber to the channel, and you must leave a comment. If you do all of that, and this video right here gets at least 50 likes, you will have a shot at a free week of FTA Plus. That is all sports, every single sport. So currently this week, we're not doing NBA because it's the play-in tournament with 2 games. There's really no point. There is no MMA this weekend. There is golf on Thursday. There's 2 different ones. I'm not sure which one is on Fanduel and DraftKings. I'll have to look. So you'll get a free week of that. If this video gets at least 100 likes, you'll have a chance at a free month, 150 likes, a free year, 200 or more likes, a chance at a lifetime pass. And the second way to win, if I do forget, I hope I don't forget, but the second way to win, somewhere in this video, there'll be a keyword or a key phrase. Listen for it, type it in, and have your shot at a free week of FTA Plus. So we're going to see who the winner from Sunday's video is. So gave it a little bit more time. We had over 1,000 views, 113 likes. So whoever this is right here will be the person that wins a free month of FTA Plus. And the winner is Alpha Coach Thomas. Congratulations. A comment. I appreciate your hard work. If you have haters, that means you're doing something right. I have this one person that has left 12 comments on our videos, and not one of them is positive. Just don't come to the channel. It just makes no sense, but you're giving me the engagement, so like I win. But at the same time, it's so funny because it's always negative, and I can see every single one of your comment. You know who you are. So congratulations, Alpha. Please email me dfshelp1@gmail.com. Let me know in the subject line that you are the 413 or say 413 views winner, something like that. Let me know a username and email and a password if you do not already have one on the site. What we're going to do is you can find information there, but we're going to use Outlier. We're going to refresh the page. I think we have a 4-game early slate, and then we have a 11-game main slate that we're going to cover. So we're going to go through this, and I'm really hoping in about a couple more weeks, we have a ton of all these stats for this year, so we can base it off this year as well. But what we're going to do is we're going to break down the pitchers. We're going to break down the batters in each game. We got this game in the Great American Small Park. You guys know the ball does fly out of there. If you want to see how much it actually does, that is right here. And you can go to ballpark factors. So again, this is a free tool you can check out. You can see which ballpark has the most amount of home runs. It breaks it down pretty well, StatCast and everything that you guys need. So you can use these here. You can see that Great American Small Park right here through the last 2.5 seasons. The park factors, and I mean, you can sort it by however you want. If you want to go home runs, this ballpark is the #1 ballpark since 2023 for home runs. So you can sort it however you want, and hopefully it helps you out when you're building. So after we are done doing the breakdown of every single game, I'm going to give you the all the batters that have a 10 out of 10 matchup rating through 10,000 simulations. And there are a ton through 10,000. And then we're going to do pitches be crazy, meaning the top 5 pitchers on the day that have the best matchups against teams that strike out them. So that being said, we have Nick Lodolo and we have Luis Castillo. Now, Castillo did not face Cincinnati last year. The record wasn't there. He was not getting the run support. Strikeouts were kind of down a little bit. You got Lodolo, kind of the same thing. Last year had a 4.76 ERA. Both of these pitchers have had some good starts. And we can kind of see, like, for a 4-game early slate, if you are playing this early slate, any pitcher is good to go. And what I mean by that is pretty much anyone here is in a good spot that you got to just kind of do a little bit of exposure to. So if we look at their overall stats, they really don't see each other much. But Luis Castillo, in 22 plate appearances against the Reds, 18.2 K percentage and a 286 batting average. Nick Lodolo has only seen 6 total at-bats against this current Mariners roster. So they just don't see each other a ton. So there's not going to be much there. And yeah, it's a Rosarena. 2 home runs. He's obviously a cheaper option there if you're going the outfield. He sees, for whatever reason, he sees the ball out of Lodolo's hand quite well. So we got to take advantage of that as well. So not necessarily saying a Mariner stack is the way to go, but let's just, we can see that. And we can go with, different Mariners bats. So while not being seen much, only one batter, you can look how they did last year, how they hit against left-handed pitching. So Rosarena last year did have 7 bombs. 2 of those came off Lodolo. J-Rod had 6 bombs, batted 268. J.P. Crawford, that'd be a lefty-on-lefty matchup, but 262 there with 4 bombs. Mitch Garver, we usually like to take Mitch Garver against lefties when he plays. I don't know if he'll be there, but those are just some that you could look at. So overall, right now, through 10,000 simulations, I'm not feeling a Mariner stack at the moment, but that could all change once all the simulations come out, once we know the weather for sure. The ballpark factors, we know the wind is blowing as of right now. The wind is scheduled to blow out of this ballpark. This could be one of those where I might use bats on both sides. I don't know if I like the pitching overall. Since he bats against Castillo, no one has a home run. Like I said, they really haven't seen much against right-handed pitching last year. Ellie De La Cruz had 19 bombs, batted 275. He's obviously in play. Candelario is always in play. In a stack, Jake Fraley is for me. Spencer Steer is another one. I don't know if I like either. Gavin Lux you could use as well. So I'm really feeling a stack, and I think it's probably a game stack more so than just one of the teams. So I might be fading this game pitching wise. Now I'll let you know right now, I am not always correct. I'm just breaking the games down for you, trying to give you a second look of how to read these games and how to kind of go about starting with your first look to build your lineups. So the next game we've got the Washington Nationals versus the Pittsburgh Pirates. We got Jake Irvin versus Mitch Keller. Mitch Keller faced Washington once last year, did have pretty good numbers there, 10 strikeouts, but a 4.76 ERA. So in that start, or 2 starts for 11 innings. So not much. Mitch Keller coming in. Overall, 67 plate appearances, a 310 batting average is what Washington is hitting against him in their career. And then Jake Irvin coming in, 1 start, 10 earned runs, got absolutely demolished. You wouldn't have thought that by Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh hit him. Maybe they just see the ball well out of there. Looking at the ballpark and what the weather's doing, it is blowing out to left. So I am probably off of both pitchers. I would rather use the bats. Now, Josh Bell has a home run. DeYoung has a home run against him. Probably not using DeYoung, though. But against right-handed pitching, Luis Garcia Jr. batted 288 last year with 17 bombs. Paul DeYoung did have 19 bombs. He would be a cheap option. He's not a one-off. He would only be if you are going to stack Washington here. Josh Bell had 13 bombs last year, switch hitter. Obviously, James Wood has a ton of power if he could get there. Alex Call, Tanya. It just really depends on the lineup that comes out. I love a Washington stack here. But I am not using Jake Irvin. I would look at Pittsburgh stack as well. So looking at this, like IKF would be a cheap infield option for you. McCutcheon, O'Neal Cruz, Brian Reynolds, I would use those guys. If Joey Bart is in there, I like Joey Bart, but he's got that questionable tag. I don't know if he will play much, and that's kind of something that we'll look at. So let's just see the starting lineups that come out. But for this game right here, I am fading both pitchers. I would look at the offenses. I think I like both offenses right about the same. Next game, Diamondbacks at the Marlins. We have Merrill Kelly versus Connor Gillespie. Now, Merrill Kelly has not looked ideal to start the season. Merrill Kelly, neither of these pitchers faced the other team last year. So, Merrill Kelly being hurt, had a 5-1 record last year. Coming in, it just doesn't look good at the moment. So, and if you've been with us before, you kind of know that if there is a team that hasn't seen this pitcher, or at least they've never faced the other team ever, so none of these batters have seen him. So you have your scouting reports, but you also have that, well, is that an advantage to the pitcher there? I'm probably not using either pitcher. I would rather look at the bats. So if I'm looking at, like, let's say Arizona bats against Connor Gillespie, Josh Naylor, obviously you got to look at him. You got to look at Corbin Carroll. I think those are my top two when I use it. Pavin Smith would be a cheaper option. You could definitely look at if you're stacking here. Jake McCarthy could be one. I don't think very many people will be on him. Eugenio Suarez, maybe ride, early season he was having success with every single hit was a home run. Obviously cooled off a little bit. But those would be the bats that I'd look at. Now, Merrill Kelly, obviously very up and down, has never faced him before. And you can see last year they were pretty good against right-handed pitching. And if obviously this offense is not as good, but if you were to stack against Merrill Kelly, I'm probably looking at Wagaman. Cheap option. I don't think very many people will be on. Jonah Bride is one. Xavier Edwards is one, definitely. You could look at a Kyle Stowers. It just depends on the lineup that comes out. So pitching on the early slate is really not ideal. It's very few and far between there. And then you have the Giants at the Phillies as the final one. You've got Justin Verlander versus the Jesus Lizard, Jesus Luzardo, who's been pretty damn good for Philly to start the season. So Luzardo obviously did not face San Francisco last year. Verlander did once. I don't know what to expect out of Verlander, just because I don't know he's 55 years old. I don't know how he's still here, what he's doing, why he won't retire and just go with his hot wife. 6.92 ERA. He's got 16 strikeouts in, 3 starts this year? 3 starts. He's coming off 5 earned runs against Cincy. That was at home in what is a pitcher's ballpark. Pitches, he's thrown 90. The one before that, he gave up 3 earned runs and 65 pitches against the Mariners. And to start the season, 83 pitches against Cincy. So he's faced Cincy twice. 2 earned runs, 5 strikeouts. So he did decent there. But Philly can hit. Philly can hit overall. We know that. And you see Verlander, 116 plate appearances against him, 202 batting average. He is not the same pitcher. He probably doesn't make it out of the 5th inning. So I'm looking at the Phillies here. So Philly bats against Verlander since he's been around so long. Castellanos has a home run. It is tax day, which is a national tragedy for some. And if you guys know the superstition with the national tragedy or some big event happening, Nick Castellanos always hits a home run. So if you comment down below, Castellanos will hit a home run, and he hits a home run, we will have a giveaway. We will give away 1 week free on top of the other 2 giveaways. It just happens. He loves to hit home runs on days that are national tragedies. And I would say paying taxes on things I've already paid taxes for, probably a national tragedy. So I am off of Verlander. I would look at Philly as a stack. I would look at Schwarber. I would look at Castellanos. I would look at Bryce Harper. I would look at Bryson Stott. Trey Turner's obviously another one. Brandon Marsh. It just depends on the lineup that comes out. Then you got the Giants bats against the Jesus Lizard. So Luzardo here, didn't know what we're gonna get out of him. But he comes in 2-0 record, 150 ERA, 25 strikeouts. So they are a little bit lower. 11 strikeouts against Washington. The Dodgers, he had set, 8 strikeouts in that game, gave up no earned runs. They won that game. Lost the game in extras to the Braves, but 6 innings, 1 earned run, and 6 strikeouts. So he's been pretty damn decent here. Against the Giants in his career, 33 plate appearances, 303 batting average. I don't trust them. Yes, they can hit. I would like this a little bit more if it were in San Francisco because it is a pitcher's ballpark. But let's say, for instance, you're going to fade Philly. You're gonna fade Luzardo, and you want to look at the Giants bats. Which ones would I look at? Willie Adames I would look at. I would look at Matt Chapman against the lefty, Wilmer Flores, Casey Schmidt, Lamont Wade Jr., Elliot Ramos last year batted 370 with a 108 and 108 at-bats, 10 home runs against the lefties there. So that is one that I would look at. I think it'll be under-owned, especially on an early 4-game slate like this. I think we could be in a good spot here. So I will have a little bit of a Luzardo, but I think I'll have a little bit of the Giant stack, while I think Philly will be more owned. I think an under-owned stack might be the Giants, just because of how good Luzardo is. And those are the kind of insights that you need to take. So if you know that the stack or the pitcher is going to be highly owned, stack against that, because if they go off, you're probably up on the field quite a bit. So next game, we've got the Guardians at the Orioles. We come into this game, and that is the first game on the main slate. Weather concerns, we are, as of now, we are good to go. So that is always a plus, that we are feeling great to go, and I'm looking at that. So you got Charlie Morton versus Logan Allen. Charlie Morton coming in an 8.78 ERA, looking washed, had a decent start against Boston. The fact is, he had 10 strikeouts against Boston, so it looks decent. He had 16.5 fantasy points. That looks great. On the same side, he gave up 5 earned runs. So strikeout-wise, decent. The rest of the game, no. He's given up 13 earned runs in 13.1 innings, not ideal. Charlie Morton against Cleveland, I'm stacking Cleveland. I do not trust him. You got Logan Allen coming in. I mean, really hasn't gone deep into the games here. 3.60 ERA, only 5 strikeouts. The strikeouts are very low. I would look at the bats in this one. So while Morton has good numbers last year against Cleveland, I do not trust him. I'm looking at Carlos Santana. I'm looking at Stephen Kwan. I'm looking at J-Ram as my top 3. Other ones you could look at, I mean, who had success last year? Manzardo, I always like to look at him. Bo Naylor, if you're trying to find a cheap catching option if he plays, I would look at him. Those are the bats. I would, yes, Cleveland as a stack. But on the flip side of that, Baltimore bats against Logan Allen. Gunnar Henderson has a home run, and that is it. I think this entire lineup is in play outside of Jackson Holiday. He has not looked good. Kind of started off pretty good to start the season, first couple of games. Had like 4 home runs or something. Really slowed down. I don't even know. He's probably going to get sent down. Would not be surprised if Tyler O'Neill hits a home run. 128 at-bats against left-handed pitching last year. Smashes, 16 bombs. He is in my lineup. Gunnar is in my lineup. Ramon Laureano would be a cheap outfield option for Baltimore if he starts. Ryan Mountcastle. Like, I love Adley, 329. This tonight feels like Baltimore is one of those teams that I want to stack multiple different times. So different stacks. So wait for the lineup to come out. Get your feeling in there. It's just, I like more than 5 batters in this one. So make different ones. I'm not using the pitching in this game. There's other pitching that I would look at. I would rather stack the teams. I give the advantage to Cleveland because Charlie Morton is just, he's bad. So that's kind of what I would look at there if I were to start stacking with what I wanted to kind of look at. So next game, Boston at Tampa Bay. Walker Buehler versus Ryan Pepio. Buehler has, not faced him before. 5.75 ERA. We did use him against Toronto on your boy's birthday. 6.1 innings, 1 earned run, 7 strikeouts. He helped us out. So what I tell everyone is we're usually right around what you're looking for value-wise on MLB. 2 to 2.5 times value. What I mean by that is Walker Buehler was 7,500. So we were basically looking at 15 to 18 fantasy point range, and we got 22.7. So that was fantastic. Usually the key to building a DraftKings lineup is try to find 2 good pitchers that are under 8K. And Walker Buehler was one of those last time, and that worked out. He gets to go up against Tampa Bay. The only problem is this ballpark is the minor league ballpark or the spring training ballpark for the Yankees. The wind is blowing out, and it has the 3rd highest chance for home runs with ballpark factor. That's a problem. Walker Buehler for tournaments, I'm okay with because he has stayed at 7,500. But you can see he did not have 2 good starts there. One against St. Louis, one against Texas. Now he's going up against the Tampa Bay team. Hasn't seen much of them at all, and that might be a problem for him. And then Ryan Pepio, coming in, 3.38 ERA, 5 innings, 6 innings. He's given up earned runs in every single one of them. Strikeouts have been decent. Boston actually strikes out the 4th most out of any team, which we will cover at the end of this video in the Pitches Be Crazy segment. So Ryan Pepiot for tournaments or just sports betting, I don't mind him. I don't know if I like him for DFS, especially with the way the ball's going out of there. Like, we could take Pepiot for 5+ strikeouts and be good, but he could also give up 5 earned runs. Good for good for sports betting, not so good for DFS. So we will cover that. So Pepiot really hasn't seen much. Trevor Story does have a home run. If I were to stack against him, I would look at Bregman, I would look at Devers, I would look at Rafaela, Willie Abreu, and Trevor Story in this lineup. And then Tampa Bay against Buehler, they've never seen him before. Just because of how this ballpark is like playing so far, I would take a flyer on Chris Morel. I would take a flyer on Brandon Lau. Caminero, I would look at, and Jonathan Aranda, I would look at as well. I'm with how many games are on this main slate, I'm probably fading both of these. I think Boston has a better chance for more home runs or more offense, but Tampa Bay is there as well because Walker Buehler has been inconsistent to start this season. Kansas City at New York is next. We got Max Fried versus Michael Wacha. So looking at this one right here, Fried has faced 40 Kansas City bats, 222 batting average, coming off a pretty damn good start against Detroit. 38.8 fantasy points, had 11 strikeouts. He's got, that was the most he had. Detroit does strike out the 2nd most out of any team. But if we look at Kansas City, they actually don't. So if we look at Kansas City and how they strike out, let's see. So Kansas City strikes out the 8th least, so 7.81 times per game. So if we get 7 strikeouts out of him, I think it'd be pretty good. This ballpark is not Kansas City. If it was Kansas City, we'd feel a little bit better because of how this ballpark sets up. The wind is blowing out to right field. That could be a problem for any batter for Kansas City that hits lefties well. Then you got Michael Wacha. Now, the Yankees do strike out, top 5 team of striking out. Wacha's not hit value yet this year. Strikeouts have been a little bit lower, has come at 4.20 ERA. Probably off of him. Would look at the bats. I would use Max Fried a little bit for tournaments, but I think I like a stack on both sides. It just depends if we're going to get vintage Fried or we're going to get Fried who might get lit up a little bit. So, no one's really seen him. Hunter Renfroe has a home run, but against left-handed pitching, they do hit well. So Kansas City bats that I would use in this one, Perez, Michael Massey, Bobby Witt Jr., Hunter Renfroe. I do like Jonathan India if he is in there, but I don't know if he's going to play this game. I saw he was questionable last I looked, but maybe he's good to go now. So I'm not using Wacha. I will use a little bit of Fried. Michael Wacha, who's had success. Paul Goldschmidt has been dominant. The way this team has been hitting, I would look at Judge. I would look at Goldie. I would look at Cody Bellinger any given day, pretty much any matchup. Then it depends. You got to find 2. Would you go Austin Wells? Jason Dominguez would be a cheaper option. He's been hitting pretty well. You obviously got Ben Rice. If Ben Rice is leading off, I like that too because Ben Rice has been DHing and he's been hitting the hell out of the ball. Like he's hitting the ball hard. Whether or not he's hitting a home run, a go-ahead home run, what he's doing. I would look at him. I would also throw in Jazz a little bit as well. I think the only bat I'm probably not using with the Yankees is Oswaldo Cabrera or whoever's playing third base. Either Cabrera, Pablo Reyes. Yeah, that's probably what I'd look at. If Wells is out and JC Escara is in, he'd be a cheap catching option as well. So in conclusion to this game, I'm probably looking a little bit at Max Fried. I'm fading Wacha, and I would look at both bats, but I like the Yankees bats a little bit more. Atlanta at Toronto is next. Atlanta's offenses they're bad. Schwellenbach, though, has had 2 decent starts and a fantastic start. Now he goes up against a Toronto team. 10,500 is a very hefty price to pay for him. Then you got Gossman, 35.6 coming off a fantastic start against Boston, bad start against the Mets, decent start against Baltimore. He's hit 2 times value 2 out of the 3 times. Atlanta's offense has been very, very bad, and they strike out 3rd most out of any team. So I'm probably off of Atlanta's offense for the most part, outside of a couple bats. I like both pitchers here. I think I would take the $2,000 savings and go with Gossman. I really don't like the offense in this one. So we're not really going to cover it right now. Maybe something will pop up in 2000 or our first 10,000 simulations. But as of right now, nothing pops out that I want to use in this game outside of Gossman for pitching and then Schwellenbach if we can afford him, if we can find value in a second pitcher. So we can move to the next game. We got the surprising Athletics offense. Been pretty good. You got Jeffrey Springs going up against Sean Burke. So the White Sox are a bad team overall. Ballpark here, obviously the Windy City. We look at this. The wind is blowing directly out. That's a problem. So Jeffrey Springs comes in as a 4.20 ERA. We stacked against him. We took San Diego against him. They put up 3 earned runs, 4 runs total. Strikeouts have been low for him outside of against Seattle. The White Sox are a bad team, though. The problem, like against the Cubs, only 3 innings. Then he had 6 innings, both of them. Tournament-wise, I'm okay with Springs just because of how bad the White Sox are offensively. And then Sean Burke going up against 6.8 ERA. I mean, had 1 bad start, 1 good start, and 1 not good start. I'm not on him. I'd rather the way the Athletics have been hitting, I would rather go on the Athletics here, which is wild to talk about. Beginning of the season, you wouldn't have heard me say that. Against Sean Burke, like they really haven't seen much. Brent Rooker has a home run. He is definitely one I'm looking at. I would look at him. I would look at JJ Bleday. I would look at Lawrence Butler, Shea Langoliers, and like if I'm looking for a 5th one, probably Gio Urshela if he starts. I don't know if he'll start, but if Gio Urshela is there, I would look at that stack. White Sox offense, like they haven't done much against left-handed pitching. I mean, if you were to go with White Sox bats, Lennon Sosa would be a very cheap option for an outfielder. Andrew Vaughn. Like that's probably it. I'm not looking at a stack here. Those are a couple one-offs if you're looking for a cheap outfield option or infield option to fill out a full stack lineup or whatever. Not looking at that. I don't really want either pitcher, though. Springs for tournaments, maybe, but there's just so many other games today. We don't have to worry about this game. And I don't think we really need to. Athletics being a 1.5 point spread favorite is, yeah, that's kind of where I'd see. I think it's either a low-scoring game or the Athletics put up a ton in this one. So the next game we've got on the docket is the Tigers at the Brewers. Got Jack Flaherty versus Quinn Priester. So Flaherty coming in game log-wise. 2 really good starts, and against the Dodgers, medium start to start the season. Now, obviously, the Dodgers are a very good hitting team. Milwaukee, I thought they were good. Their bullpen has let up. I mean, I think their bullpen gave up 5 earned runs in the bottom of the 9th on Sunday to lose, or 6 earned runs in the bottom of the 9th. I think 6, something. Detroit's offense has been pretty good. They are projected as currently 1.5 point favorites. Milwaukee bats against Flaherty. William Contreras has a home run. Christian Yelich has 2. Churio has 1. And Rhys Hoskins has 1. If I were to use any bats, I'm probably looking at those guys. Maybe Bryce Terang, and that's it. Detroit bats against Quinn Priester. Never faced him before. Against right-handed pitching, like I would look at Kerry Carpenter. I would look at Riley Green. I would look at Zach McKinstry. Maybe Colt Keith, but really boom or bust with Colt Keith. That's probably it. The only way I'm using Quinn Priester is in sports betting because Detroit's the team that strikes out the second most out of anyone here. So that's kind of the breakdown for that game. There's not a ton that I would look at there. Not a ton that really do much for me. Again, when you have a huge slate, you don't need exposure to every single game. It is okay to skip some games. So now we have the Minnesota Twins hosting the New York Mets. So you got Tyler Meagle in here, 0.63 ERA, a very low ERA. Not going deep into games. He did make it to the 6th inning once. The walks have been there. The strikeouts have been there. 3 decent games. He's 7,900. The Twins offense this year, they're bad. They're a bad team. I didn't think they'd be as bad as they are, which is crazy. And then you got Bailey Ober. Having not faced the Mets last year, really haven't seen much of him at all. Against right-handed pitching, they do hit like there. So you could look at Bailey Ober. Tyler Meagle for tournaments, I'm okay with. I would like this game if it were in Citi Field a little bit more than where it's at, but we take what we can get for this. then Bailey Ober does come in with a 7.11 ERA. Too good. I mean, the main one was opening day for him, 8 earned runs, and that really screwed him over. Outside of that, he's had 2 good starts. He's hit value once, the 2 times value at Kansas City, which was a pitcher's ballpark. If we look at this ballpark, Minnesota, for weather, wind is blowing out from left to right, but it currently might be a little bit too chilly. Like the humidity is not there to give the ball a boost. It's got negative for home runs, doubles and triples, singles, and runs currently in the models. So looking at that, tournament-wise, I think both pitchers are tournament options. I don't really trust them in cash. And if you wanted to go with bats, if we were looking at the Mets bats, I would obviously look at Lindor. I would look at Pete Alonso. Jesse Winker, I think, is a cheap option. I don't know if I want to pay it for Juan Soto, but he's bound to have a big game soon. Tyrone Taylor would be a cheaper option too. Might even look at Brandon Nimmo if you're trying to fill out a full New York Mets stack and you need a couple of cheaper options there. Minnesota bats, if you want to look against Meagle, because I think a lot of people will be on Meagle, you can look at Willie Castro. You can look at Ty France. You can look at Matt Wallner, maybe even Trevor Larnach. And then obviously a cheap option would be Brooks Lee, who just got reinstated Saturday or Sunday. And then there's always Carlos Correa, who batted .310 against right-handed pitching last year. So again, maybe they just start hitting singles. You get those fantasy points. Maybe not a ton of home runs in this one, but I don't mind either pitcher for tournaments. I don't think I trust them in cash, though. So the next game, we got Houston at St. Louis. We've got Hunter Brown versus Eric Fetty-Wap. So we come into this one, and we look at this. Hunter Brown coming in. He was the picture of the video and article, his last game against Seattle. 6 innings, no earned runs, which was great. Only 3 strikeouts. So he didn't give us the fantasy points I was expecting, especially at 10,000. He still got us 18.3. He's had 3 really good starts to start the season. I think they said he added a pitch to his arsenal, which has been pretty damn good. Now he does get a plus matchup against a St. Louis team that we don't know what we're going to get out of them. 2 ERA on the year. And then you got Eric Fetty, 4.20 ERA, 101 record. Strikeouts are low. Strikeouts are non-existent there. And Houston actually strikes out. Where do they strike out? 8.73 times per game. So they rank 19th out of 30 on the year. He's just not a strikeout guy. I'd rather go with Hunter Brown and the Astros offense over Eric Fetty and the Cardinals offense. So I would look at Isaac Paredes. I would look at Yordan Alvarez. I would look at Christian Walker. Obviously, Altuve and Pena there. And then if you need like another one, Yainer Diaz, while we usually like to take him against lefties, he still hit 297 in 428 at-bats with 10 bombs against right-handed pitching last year. So damn near hit 300 if he is in there. I like that. So what I would look at is I would look at Hunter Brown and I would look at the Astros offense. Then you got the Angels at the Rangers here. You got Tyler Mahle versus Yusei Kikuchi. Mahle, 2 really good starts, and then Boston start wasn't very good. 1.32 ERA coming in. The fact, though, the Angels are hitting well. They're hitting well. You got Kikuchi comes in with a 5 ERA. We've stacked him against him every single time. I mean, he's not hit value. He hit value the first time against the White Sox. I'm probably fading the pitching in this one. I would rather look at the batters. It's not been confirmed that it's Tyler Mahle, but it does look like it is. So I would take Mahle. If I were taking Angels bats here, or if I were to take Astros, if I were to take the Rangers bats against Kikuchi, I don't trust Kikuchi here. Against left-handed pitching, I would probably look at Marcus Semien. I would look at Corey Seager. If you want a cheap option who usually smashes lefties, Kyle Higashioka for your very cheap catching option. Let's see how cheap he is. I don't know if he'll start, but if he gets in there at 2,400, yeah, you would save money there. So he could be in there. I don't know if he will be. Adolis Garcia is 3 for 9 with 2 bombs against Kikuchi. I would look at him. Kevin Pillar is usually a cheap option. I don't know if he's in, if he's done much this year. Let's see. Limited run. looks more to be like a pinch hitter, but if somehow Pilar does start, 313 batting average, obviously is kind of skewed, but usually take him against lefties, but he'd be more of a tournament-only option there. If I'm using Angels bats, if it is Molly, and it's not been confirmed, but if it is, in fact, Tyler Molly, and I'm looking at Angels bats, I'm probably taking a look at Mike Trout. We love Mike Trout on this channel. You guys know that. I want him to win MVP. I would look at Mike Trout. I would look at Joe Adell. I would look at Taylor Ward. I would look at Nolan Schanuel. I don't know if he'll be in there. Those are probably Kyron Paris, obviously. I think Paris hasn't he kind of slowed down a little bit? I mean, he's batting 368. Like, yeah, I mean, strikeout, 2 strikeouts, 1 hit, though. The points are there. Like, he's not doing as well as he was a week ago. So he might be. It just depends. Kyron Paris at 4,000 might be too much for him or me to use. It depends on how you feel. If you're going for if you're going to send it with a full Angel stack. So we got the Cubs at the San Diego Padres. It is a pitcher's ballpark. We've talked about that in the past. With this, it's winds blowing from left to right. It has negative impact for home runs, extra base hits, and everything. We got Amanaga versus Randy Vasquez. So you got Amanaga coming in 2.70 ERA. Not a good start against Texas, 5 earned runs. But against San Diego, he just faced them 2 starts ago. 7.1 innings, 1 earned run, 4 Ks. So if the Ks could be up, I would like that. Because somehow San Diego does not hit lefties as well as they hit righty. So I'm looking at Amanaga here at 8,700 for sure. And then Randy Vasquez comes in on the year, in total against the Cubs, 38 plate appearances, 152 batting average. He's actually been really good. 172 ERA. Nothing like flashy, though. 5 innings, 4.26. Strikeouts are low. I mean, the most he's had in a game is 3. Going up against the Cubs, who just don't strike out very much this year. I'm probably, like, at 6,000, you could throw him in there and just hope. But I kind of like the offenses. I like Amanaga, and then I like the offense just a little bit more than I do. I don't know if I'll have much exposure to the Cubs offense, but I would look at Pete Crow Armstrong. No one's had success against him, but I'd look at PCA. I'd look at Ian Happ. Suzuki did he get put on the IL or is he just stated it? He just stated. Let's see. Wrist pain. I mean, I could see him and maybe he's put on the IL before you watch this video. So if he is out, obviously Kyle Tucker makes a ton of sense. Ian Happ, PCA, I would look at Michael Busch a little bit, and maybe Carson Kelly or Miguel Amaya, depending on the catcher that is starting for the Cubs today. Then the final game on the slate is the very bad Colorado Rockies versus the Dodgers. Don't overthink this. It is always been Landon Knack in the Dodgers offense. The problem is Landon Knack's coming off a 10.39 ERA, but Colorado did not put up a single run this weekend against the Padres. Stack the Dodgers. Landon Knack, maybe. I don't know if you'd use him. Feltner, 2.81 ERA, good start against Milwaukee. You could throw Feltner in there just because of how bad the Dodgers have been in some of these games where you think they put up runs and they don't. You could put him in there. But I'd rather just look at the Dodgers bats. And it really just depends on the lineup that comes out. But obviously, Freddie Freeman being back, you got to look at him. Shohei's kind of had, my problem is Ohtani. Didn't he have a bad weekend? I mean, yeah, he hasn't done very much. I mean, he has not hit a home run since April 7th. Or wait. How did he hit a home run but have 0 fantasy? That doesn't make any sense to me. Overall, though, you're paying $6,500 for him, and it's not even in Coors, which is wild. You could probably find other Dodger bats to offset him in a stack. I think a lot of people will be on Ohtani. Now, obviously, he can hit multiple home runs a game. It's just been a minute since he has done. So all in all, in theory, I'm looking at this. There's a ton of pitching. I'm off of basically everyone down here all the way up. Landon Knack for tournaments I'm okay with. That's pretty much it. Pepio, DFS, probably not, but sports betting, yes. Not a ton. We've had way better pitching matchups in the past. I think it's basically Gossman and up that make any sense on a main slate like this. So there you have it. That is the breakdown of every single game on the day. Early slate, main slate. We've got it all for you. Now what we're going to do is we're going to give you all of the batters that have a 10 out of 10 matchup rating through 10,000 simulations, which you can find MLB under the matchup tool right here. So usually before the main slate locks, about an hour before, we update our projections, we update our simulations, we update our matchup tool. So make sure you check all of that out on top of everything else that you guys can have. But here we go. All of the batters have a 10 out of 10 matchup, and there's a lot. There's a lot. And these will change throughout the day, so make sure you check about an hour before first pitch. So number 1 is Aaron Judge. 2 is Shohei. 3 is Kyle Tucker. 4 is Gunnar Henderson. 5, Kyle Schwarber. 6, Jordan Westberg. 7, Brent Rooker. 8, Bryce Harper. 9, Seiya Suzuki if he is in there. 10, Stephen Kwan. 11, Ian Happ. 12, Adley Rutschman. 13, Alex Call. 14, Tyler Soderstrom. 15, Tyler O'Neill. 16, Mookie Betts. 17, Michael Busch. 18, Pete Crow Armstrong. 19, Ryan Mountcastle. 20, Ramon Laureano. 21, Hybert Ruiz. 22, Nate Lowe. 23, Jordan. 24, Juan Soto. 25, Christian Yelich. 26, Dansby Swanson. 27, Luis Garcia Jr. 28, Alex Bregman. 29, William Contreras. 30, Ramon Urias. 31, Gary Sanchez. I don't know if he'll play. And 32, Nico Horner going up against Randy Vasquez. 32 might be is it the most amount of 10 out of 10? Now, once we run more simulations, the weather has kind of been finalized. We can see the lineups come out. That'll change a little bit, but that is a ton of 10 out of 10 matchup rating players for you. Hopefully is enough. If you need more of a boost, $10 for a week for everything. That's for this sport. NASCAR. NBA wants to we're not doing the play-in tournament this week. NFL, PGA, MMA. There is no MMA this week. $10 for all of that, and as much as I put in, I am the only one doing the videos, editing, the articles, everything. It would help. But again, just watching these videos the entire way through, maybe after you watch this and you get your lineups in, just have it play in the background for the watch time. That helps out as much as well. Tips are always appreciated, but not necessary and not expected. But I did get a couple tips this weekend, so thank you guys. But yeah, so here we're going to go the top 5 pitchers via pitches be crazy against the teams that strike out the most. So looking at this, right now, Landon Knack versus Colorado. Now, Landon Knack does have a 10 ERA, but versus Colorado, Colorado strikes out 10.67 times per game, and they strike out 11.11 times on the road. So Landon Knack could be there. Now, you can use either this for DFS or sports betting. Quinn Priester, number 2 versus Detroit. Detroit strikes out 9.87 times per game, 10.33 on the road. Kevin Gossman versus Atlanta. Atlanta strikes out 9.73 times per game and 10.10 on the road. Ryan Pepio versus Boston. Boston strikes out 9.71 times per game, 10.40 times on the road. And Michael Wacha against the New York Yankees. The Yankees strike out 9.67 times per game. They strike out 9.33 times on the road. Or at home. Sorry, at home. So there you go. To reiterate, that's Landon Knack, number 1, Quinn Priester, 2, 3 is Kevin Gossman, 4 is Ryan Pepio, and 5 is Michael Wacha. There you have it. Tuesday slate broken down, completed. All the games, early slate, main slate, all the batters that have a 10 out of 10 matchup rating, and the top 5 pitchers for pitches be crazy. Let's have a fan.